When you lose control in an argument, you've lost more than just the argument. You've lost respect, calm, and above all, power over yourself. Whoever shouts shows weakness, because noise is the last resort of those who have no control over their emotions. A Stoic does not allow themselves to be dragged into the mud where others want to fight. They maintain a serene face, a firm voice, and only speak when necessary. That is real authority. Today, more than ever, you need to learn to respond without being provoked. It's not about keeping quiet so that you're walked over, nor about using empty phrases to look good, but about having words that set boundaries, halt attacks, and protect you from falling into pointless arguments. Respect is not begged for, it is imposed when you decide not to stoop to the level of the other person. In this video, you will learn about 5 phrases that are like silent weapons. They do not hurt, but they put anyone who tries to manipulate you, shout at you, or belittle you in their place. They are short, direct phrases, imbued with Stoic philosophy, designed to help you maintain self-control even in the most tense moments. Because true strength is not in responding with more anger, but in showing that no one has the power to knock you off your center. 1. Calmness overcomes shouting. Calmness is like a deep, silent river that flows regardless of the stones thrown at it. You can throw rocks, sticks, even yell at the water, but the river continues its course, serene, unperturbed, and it is precisely this tranquility that gives it strength. This should be your attitude when someone tries to upset you. A firm course that is not stopped by the small turbulences on the surface. The first lesson is clear: calmness overcomes shouting. Every time you lose your calm and raise your voice, you hand over control of the situation to the other person. It doesn't matter how right you are. If you raise your tone, you lose authority because you let your response depend on impulse and not on reason. Keeping calm does not mean being weak or letting yourself be disrespected. It means showing that you do not need to shout to be heard. Whoever masters their voice shows that they master their mind, and that is the greatest sign of strength you can show. In situations of conflict, shouting is a trap. It is a bait that seeks to drag you into the emotional terrain where the other person wants you to lose control. Therefore, when someone raises their voice, the first thing you should do is slow down your breathing and remember that you do not have to play their game. Speaking calmly forces the other person to realize their own excess. Calmness acts like a mirror that reflects the other person's lack of control and makes it clear who is in command. This difference in attitude not only commands respect, it also halts the advance of unnecessary discussion. A common mistake is to confuse calmness with absolute silence. Calmness is not keeping quiet out of fear or giving in to the other person. It is choosing short, clear words with a firm tone without raising your voice. It is showing that your self-control is worth more than any provocation. If someone shouts to impose themselves and you respond calmly, the imbalance becomes evident. Serenity disarms because it breaks the rhythm that the other person seeks to maintain and forces a change in the dynamics of the conversation. This is an advantage that few use, but it transforms discussions into dialogues or extinguishes them before they ignite. To practice this lesson, start by training the pause. Do not respond immediately to attacks. Make a conscious effort to inhale and exhale before answering. This not only gives your mind time to organize ideas, but it shows that you do not react impulsively. The pause allows you to find the right tone and the right phrase. Maintaining eye contact also helps, not in a challenging way, but firm and calm, because it shows that you are present and do not feel intimidated. This non-verbal language reinforces your message without the need for extra words. Remember that calmness is not innate. It is built through daily practice. Start with the everyday. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when the cashier takes longer than expected, when someone interrupts your explanation. These are small exercises that strengthen emotional discipline so that when a real conflict arrives, you already have a trained mind. Stoicism teaches that true power lies in controlling what depends on you, and your reaction is always in your hands, even if the circumstances are not. Whoever manages to remain serene in the face of noise not only protects their inner peace, but also gains respect even from those who try to provoke them. Over time, others learn that shouting at you is useless because they will not get the response they expect from you. This forces them to adjust their tone or withdraw, and that is the victory of calmness over shouting. 2. Do not fight on their turf. A hawk never descends to fight a snake on the ground because it knows that there it would lose the advantage of its wings. It drags it into the sky, where the air and the altitude are on its side, and there the snake loses all its strength. This is how you should act when someone tries to provoke you. Do not stay to fight on the ground they choose. Every time you enter their game of shouting, insults, or mockery, you crawl on the ground and give them the advantage. True wisdom lies in taking the conflict to a space where the other cannot maintain control, and that place will always be your calm, your logic, and your silence. Arguments usually start with something small, but they grow quickly because one of the two accepts the invitation to chaos. When someone throws a provocation at you, they are setting a trap. They want you to react the same way, to respond with anger, to stoop to their level. If you do, you are no longer discussing ideas, but emotions, and there the winner is not the one who is right, but the one who manages to upset you first. Stoicism teaches that you are not obliged to respond on the field that the other chooses. You have the right to move the conflict to a ground where you can maintain control, and many times that ground is simply refusing to continue arguing. Not fighting on their ground does not mean running away or remaining silent in the face of injustices. It means not surrendering to emotional disorder. It involves keeping your tone low when the other person shouts, responding with facts when the other person uses insults, or withdrawing when the environment ceases to be a dialogue. It's a strategy of respect for yourself, not a sign of cowardice. A man or a woman who stands firm without stooping inspires more respect than the one who responds with the same venom they receive. Calm is not submission, it is strategy. In practice, this lesson applies in small gestures. If someone tries to provoke you with sarcasm, avoid responding with more sarcasm. If they raise the volume, do not imitate them. Use short phrases that indicate boundaries like, "I will not continue this conversation in this tone," or, "When you want to talk with respect, we continue." These words are signals that you will not accept to fight under their rules. The most common mistake is wanting to prove that one is not weak by responding in the same way. We believe that silence or not returning the blow is losing, but it is the opposite. Giving in to the impulse and responding with anger is falling into their game. Instead, stepping away from that dynamic shows that they do not control you and that you decide where and how the dialogue will take place. It is a reminder that dignity is not negotiated in the midst of chaos. It is protected by moving away from it. Training this habit requires daily discipline. Start by identifying what situations take you out of your center, and notice how you feel physically when you're about to lose your calm. That moment, when your heart beats faster or your voice rises, is your signal to stop and regain control. Breathing deeply, relaxing your shoulders, and responding with few words are gestures that return power to you. Over time, your mind will learn to recognize provocation before falling into it. A hawk never goes to the ground because it knows that there it would be vulnerable. Similarly, do not stoop to the level of insult, shouting, or manipulation. Stay at your emotional height, where logic and serenity are your weapons. With that attitude, you not only protect your peace, but you force others to raise the tone of their behavior if they want you to listen to them. This is how respect is imposed, not with violence, but with the firmness of those who know that they do not have to fight where it is not convenient for them. 3. Demand respect to dialogue. The word is like a door. It does not open to anyone who knocks violently or tries to force it with shouts. It only opens to those who knock with respect. If you allow them to enter without knocking, sooner or later they will sweep away everything inside. That's how dialogue works. It is not granted to those who do not respect boundaries. Demanding respect before dialogue is not arrogance. It is a requirement for the conversation to be worth it. If this condition is not established from the beginning, any attempt at understanding will turn into a battle of egos. In every confrontation, there is a critical point that defines how the exchange will continue. If you do not set the limit early, the other person assumes that they can raise their voice, interrupt, or throw hurtful comments without any consequence. And every time you agree to speak under these conditions, you reinforce the idea that your voice can be overlooked. Stoicism teaches that you cannot control what others say, but you can decide when and how you pay your attention. This means that not everything deserves a response, nor does everything deserve your time. Learning to demand respect is in reality a way to protect your mental peace. Respect in dialogue is first established with body language. Keep your face firm, without gestures of mockery or submission. Show with your posture that you are not willing to continue if the tone does not change. Sometimes a simple, "If you want us to continue talking, lower your tone," is enough to put an immediate stop. The key is not to beg for respect, but to show that the dialogue will not continue until it exists. This places the responsibility on the other. If they want to be heard, they will have to adjust their attitude. Demanding respect also involves controlling the impulse to justify yourself too much. Many people, in an attempt to be understood, extend explanations to someone who is not even listening. Every extra word you offer to someone who does not value dialogue is wasted energy. Learn to stop yourself with brief and firm phrases like, "When you are willing to listen, we talk," or "I will not continue if we cannot maintain a conversation with respect." These are simple phrases that send a clear message. Your dignity is not for sale. A common mistake is to believe that giving in to disrespect calms the situation. All it does is strengthen the other's bad habit. If someone raises their voice and you decide to continue as if nothing happened, you teach them that this behavior is acceptable with you. On the other hand, when you stop the dialogue and set the limit, you force the other person to rethink their attitude if they want to reach an agreement. It's a reminder that respect is not optional. To apply this principle in everyday life, start by paying attention to small exchanges. When someone constantly interrupts you, ignores what you say, or uses derogatory words, do not overlook it. Point it out calmly, without anger but clearly. "I need you to let me finish before responding," or "If we keep interrupting each other, we will not get anywhere," are effective ways to regain control of the conversation. Over time, you will see that those around you learn to adjust their behavior because they understand that with you, respect is a requirement, not an optional detail. Demanding respect for dialogue is not just a tactic in moments of tension, it is a constant statement about your personal value. Whoever sets clear boundaries shows that they respect themselves and are not afraid to lose a conversation by not tolerating destructive attitudes. For withdraw to protect your peace. Fire needs oxygen to keep burning. If you take away the air, no matter how big it seems, it ends up extinguishing until it turns into ashes. The same happens with conflicts. Many only exist because someone stays feeding them with words, reactions, and energy. Withdrawing is not giving up, it's closing the valve that keeps the flame alive. Most arguments are not won by speaking more, but by knowing when to be silent and walk away. If the environment ceases to be reasonable, your presence no longer makes sense there. Protecting your peace is not an act of weakness, it's an act of self-respect. There are times when insisting on dialogue only erodes your calm and feeds the ego of those who seek to provoke you. Stoicism teaches that serenity is a treasure that is defended by avoiding spending energy on battles that are not worth fighting. Strategic withdrawal is not running away. It's recognizing that your tranquility is worth more than proving you are right. The key is to recognize the signs that the conversation has ceased to be constructive. When you notice that voices are rising, that arguments are turning into personal attacks, or that the other person is not seeking to understand but to win, there is no fertile ground for dialogue. Insisting on staying only prolongs the conflict. At that moment, your best tool is a brief phrase that sets the limit. "We continue when we are calmer," or "I will not continue if we keep this tone." These are words that stop the exchange and allow you to leave with dignity, making it clear that your withdrawal is not a flight, but a conscious decision. Withdrawing in time also means not getting caught in the emotional whirlwind after you leave. It's useless to physically distance yourself if you keep arguing in your head for hours. Learn to let go of the mental weight that conflicts bring, because it's no use protecting your external space if inside you are still agitated. This is where Stoic discipline comes into play. Breathe deeply, remember that you can't control the other person's attitude, and focus on what does depend on you, which is your own emotional state. The mistake many make is to confuse withdrawal with defeat. They believe that walking away means the other person won, when in reality, the victory is not allowing them to destroy your peace. Whoever seeks to drag you into a conflict wants to see you angry, upset, and exhausted. If you don't give them that satisfaction, you take away their fuel. The calm after a conscious withdrawal is a silent victory that often weighs more than any argument. To train this habit, start by observing how many times you stay in unnecessary discussions just out of pride. You'll notice that most daily conflicts don't change anything important and only wear you out. Practice saying less, withdrawing earlier, and not seeking the last word. Not everything deserves your reaction or your presence, and learning to discern this is what gives you real power over yourself. Strategic withdrawal is a tool that commands respect. It sends the message that your peace is not negotiable and that you're not going to feed into someone else's chaos. Just like fire without oxygen, conflictive people lose strength when they can't find someone to clash with. Protecting your peace means choosing not to burn in other people's battles, and that your energy will be reserved for what really matters. Over time, those around you will learn that provoking chaos with you doesn't work, because you know when to stop and withdraw with dignity. 5. Speak little but firmly. Words are like arrows. If they are launched in all directions, they end up losing strength and become useless. But if you aim only one, and with precision, it can pierce even the most resilient target. In a discussion, talking too much is like shooting without aiming. You wear yourself out, lose impact, and let the other find cracks in your arguments. Instead, when you choose few words and say them firmly, each sentence weighs more than an entire speech. The voice that does not tremble even though it speaks little leaves more mark than a torrent of screams. Speaking little is not being silent out of fear or giving in to the other. It is choosing when to open your mouth and what to say so that it is not in vain. In moments of tension, an excess of words is often an attempt to justify yourself or impose yourself, but it only feeds confusion and gives the other more material to attack you. Stoicism teaches that you should not waste energy on useless words, but reserve them for when they can provide clarity and resolve the conflict. True authority does not need volume or length, it needs clarity and conviction. When you reduce what you say to the essential, you avoid getting trapped in endless discussions. Short phrases like, "I do not accept that deal," "I am not going to continue with this tone," or "I understand your point, but I am not going to give in on this," are enough to make your lines clear without going in circles. This type of response leaves no room for misinterpretations or for the other to manipulate your words. Each sentence should be like a dry blow that leaves no room for doubt or unnecessary replies. Firmness comes not only from the tone of voice, but from your body language. A straight posture, steady eye contact, and a serene face convey security even before you speak. If your voice is calm but your gaze wavers, you lose part of that silent authority. Speaking little and firmly is more than a communication style. It is a presence that says, "I know what I am saying, and I do not need to repeat it to be understood." This commands respect, even from those who do not share your point of view. One of the most common mistakes is to confuse talking a lot with being convincing. Many people believe that the more they explain, the more right they will have to be heard. But in conflict situations, the opposite often happens. The one who talks the most usually seems the most desperate. Learning to stop after saying the essential is an act of self-control. Each extra word after the necessary one is a thread that the other can pull to drag you into disorder. To practice this habit, start by observing how many times you add explanations that are not asked for or repeat ideas just to feel more secure. Train yourself to summarize what you think in a few clear sentences. Before speaking, ask yourself if what you are going to say will add something new or if you are just filling the silence. The goal is for your intervention to be not long, but forceful. Speaking less requires more reflection, and that mental pause strengthens your self-control. Speaking little but firmly turns each word into a strategic tool. It makes others listen more attentively because they know you do not speak for the sake of speaking. It also helps you not to fall into provocations because you do not give rise to unnecessary discussions. Stoicism teaches that he who governs his tongue governs his mind, and that respect is not begged. It is earned by showing that your voice is so solid that it does not need to shout to be heard. 6. Use your presence as authority. Presence is like the shadow of a large tree in the middle of the desert. It doesn't utter a single word, it doesn't make any gesture to attract attention, but everyone notices it and seeks shelter under it. It doesn't need to raise its voice to command respect. Its mere existence marks the space and forces those who approach to adjust their behavior. This is how your presence should feel in any discussion: silent, firm, impossible to ignore. Having authority doesn't always depend on what you say, but on how you stand in the place and how you radiate confidence. There are people who enter a room and fill the atmosphere with noise, but they leave no trace. Instead, there are those who don't need to speak for everyone to look at them and give them space. This is not a coincidence. It is the result of a well-built presence. Stoicism teaches that true power begins by governing yourself, and when your interior is firm, your mere posture communicates that you know who you are and what you tolerate. In a discussion, that presence conveys a clear message. You will not be dragged into chaos, and you don't need to shout to be heard. Using your presence as authority begins with body language. Keep your back straight, your shoulders relaxed, and your feet firmly on the ground. Don't cross your arms in defense or gesticulate excessively to impress. Silent authority comes from showing that you are not on the defensive or on the attack, but centered and confident in yourself. Holding eye contact calmly, without challenge but without looking down, communicates that you are present and that you do not yield mental or physical space to the other person. Your voice is also part of your presence. There's no need to raise it to make it weighty. Just keep it firm, paused, and clear. Speaking slowly forces the other person to listen to you at your pace and not theirs. Each word you say in this way acts as an anchor that holds the dialogue on the ground you decide. When you combine a controlled tone with solid body language, you project the image of someone who dominates the situation even in the midst of conflict. The most common mistake is trying to compensate for insecurity with too many words or exaggerated gestures. Those who speak too fast, avoid eye contact, or move restlessly signal that their interior is agitated, and this weakens their authority. Strong presence is cultivated through internal calm, and internal calm is achieved by remembering that nothing external has the power to destabilize you if you don't allow it. Stoicism insists that you don't control the acts of others, but you always control your reaction. To strengthen this habit, practice in everyday situations. For example, when you enter a crowded place, don't rush to speak or seek attention. Stop, observe the space, and feel comfortable in silence before uttering the first word. That pause communicates that you are not in a hurry to convince anyone or earn a place. The same in a discussion. Don't respond immediately. Breathe, maintain a firm posture, and make the other person feel that they will have to wait for your response. That wait, although brief, commands respect. Using your presence as authority is not to intimidate or crush others with arrogance. It is to inspire respect by showing self-control and confidence. People listen more to those who show themselves centered because they convey trust and seriousness. Over time, you will discover that you don't need to raise your voice or repeat your ideas to be taken seriously. 7. Yield the last word to gain tranquility. The echo in the mountains always returns the last sound it hears, but never initiates the noise. Its strength lies in responding only once and then keeping silent, letting the sound fade away on its own. This is how you should behave in discussions. Learn not to fight, to always have the last word. Clinging to this need is like fighting with an endless echo that never brings anything new. It just repeats the same thing with a different tone until it wears you out. When you decide to let go of the impulse to answer the last comment, you free yourself from the pointless game that fuels the conflict. Most verbal fights drag on because neither party wants to give in. Each one believes that stopping speaking first is losing, when in reality, the real triumph is in preserving mental peace. Stoicism teaches that you do not have the duty to win every argument, but to remain master of yourself. In a world where everyone seeks to be right, the wise choose to have peace. The habit of wanting to close conversations with a final comment usually comes from the ego. This impulse is born from the fear of appearing weak or that the other believes they have won. But the opinion of others about who won or lost an argument has no real power over your life. Whoever does not need to prove anything has more freedom. By withdrawing before falling into endless provocations, you demonstrate maturity and self-control. Two qualities that command more respect than any final phrase. Practicing this lesson requires patience and self-awareness. When you notice that a discussion is starting to become a repetitive exchange, make the conscious effort to stop. Recognize that you have already said what you had to say, and that insisting will only prolong the wear and tear. A simple phrase like, "I have made my position clear," or "I have nothing more to add," closes the door to conflict without the need for additional confrontations. It is also important to learn to tolerate the uncomfortable silence that sometimes follows yielding the last word. Many people feel they must fill that silence with additional explanations or defenses, but that void is, in reality, the end of the discussion. Allowing that silence to exist is a way of showing that you do not need more words to support your position. It is a gesture that forces the other to face their own words without your help to continue fueling the dispute. The most common mistake is to believe that yielding the last word takes away your authority. It is exactly the opposite. Whoever needs to always have the last phrase shows anxiety and lack of control. Whoever can keep silent after expressing their point of view makes it clear that they are sure of their position and do not need external validation. To turn this attitude into a habit, start by practicing it in small daily interactions. When someone tries to have the last word in a trivial debate, like in the supermarket line or in an online conversation, simply keep silent after your last sentence. Over time, you will notice that your mind feels lighter and less trapped in the emotions that used to make you argue too much. Yielding the last word is not a surrender, it is an act of emotional superiority. By refusing to continue playing the ego game, you protect your tranquility and project maturity. Like the echo that only returns one sound and then disappears, you learn that not all responses require a response. and that true strength is demonstrated when you know when to stop. 8. Your worth does not depend on their opinion. The sun does not ask for permission to rise, nor does it wait for applause to shine. It dawns every day with the same light, even if there are clouds that cover it or people who prefer the shadow. This is how your self-esteem should be amidst discussions and conflicts: firm, independent, not depending on what others think or say about you. When your personal worth is based on the approval of others, any criticism becomes a direct blow to your tranquility. However, if you understand that your dignity does not change with external opinions, no one can take away your peace or manipulate you with words. In conflict situations, one of the most common attacks is to try to diminish you with comments that question your character, your intelligence, or your decisions. It is a tactic to emotionally destabilize you and take you out of your center. Stoicism teaches that the words of others are not facts. They are only judgments that reveal more about them than about you. Whoever learns to separate what is real from what is only opinion stops being vulnerable to these provocations. Your worth is not in approval or praise, and much less in criticism. It is in the consistency with which you live, in the decisions you make, and in the peace you maintain when others try to define you. Every time you allow someone's voice to determine your emotional state, you give away a power that should be exclusively yours. Therefore, in tense discussions, it is essential to remember that what they say about you does not change who you are. To apply this lesson, practice the art of listening without absorbing. Not every comment needs a response, and not every criticism deserves your attention. If someone says something to hurt you, first ask yourself if it is true. If it is, take it as a reminder to improve. If it is not, let it pass like the wind that leaves no trace. This practice, common in Stoic philosophy, helps you not to react with anger or anxiety, because your reaction no longer depends on the words of others, but on your own judgment. Often, the opinions of others would not have so much power if you did not reinforce them with your own negative thoughts. Start talking to yourself with the same respect you expect from others. Telling yourself, "This does not define me," or "My worth does not change by what they think," is a way to remind yourself that your identity is not negotiated in public opinion. This habit strengthens your mind and prepares you to face criticism without feeling attacked. The most common mistake is trying to convince everyone to think well of you. Wanting to explain, justify, or clarify every misunderstanding is exhausting and makes you a prisoner of external approval. Not everyone will see your truth, and that's okay. The respect that really matters is the one you feel for yourself by staying true to what you consider right, even if others do not understand it. When someone criticizes your way of dressing, speaking, or acting, breathe and ask yourself if that opinion defines your essence. If it does not, let it stay outside of you. Make the conscious effort not to give unnecessary explanations. Over time, you will realize that you increasingly need less validation from others and that your calm becomes harder to break. Your worth does not depend on their opinion because no one else lives your life or carries your decisions. This understanding makes you free, makes you immune to the attacks that seek to make you feel small, and gives you a stronger presence in any conflict situation. Just like the sun shines, even if they do not see it, you must learn to keep your light intact without asking for permission or waiting for approval to move forward with your head held high. Thank you for staying until the end of the video. If you watched the whole thing, comment "I am Stoic" as our secret signal to know that you're a true student of Stoicism. Don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like if you enjoyed it. See you in the next video, and remember, keep cultivating your Stoic mind.